Welcome to Fadi Cooks. We're cooking out of my kitchen at home in Bethlehem. And for the first episode, we're doing my grandmother's Christmas cake. So it's a Western Christmas cake adapted to Palestinian flavors. And this is, for me, the moment where Christmas starts. The ingredients are easy, simple, you can find them anywhere, but get good ingredients. And for some of them, try and get Palestinian ingredients, especially for the dates, try and get Majdul dates from Jericho. And for the oranges, get Palestinian oranges. We need 3 cups of flour, we need 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of cardamom, 1 teaspoon of nutmeg, 1 teaspoon of ginger, and 1 teaspoon of allspice. That's where the flavors are going to be. We need a cup of sugar, a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of baking powder, orange juice, 1 cup, oil, so vegetable oil, 1 cup, and then this grape molasses, dibes in Arabic. Get ones that don't have added sugar, just the grape molasses, because here you have sugar. And this one comes from the Hebron region, and it's delicious. And then the dried fruits. And for the dried fruits, you need half a cup of raisins, half a cup of candied cherries, half a cup of walnuts, and then half a cup of apricots, a cup of dried figs, and 2 cups of Majdul dates. And then 4 eggs. And that's it. Now let's get cooking. So the first thing we're going to do is the dough. And for the dough you need 2 cups of flour. And the cup that stays is the one we're going to use to coat the dried fruits. You need the sugar, baking powder, the salt, and then mix that well. Get the spices in, and you're going to see the color is going to change, and the smells are fantastic. So here, you mix in the spices very well. Your flour and sugar are going to start having the color already. And then the oil. And for the liquid ingredients, just mix one by one so you get a homogeneous dough by the end. And the dough has to be a bit liquid because it's going to have to coat the dried fruits in the mold. The orange juice, and then the molasses, and now the eggs are just going to complement it. So 4 whole eggs, preferably get organic eggs. And then whisk them in. Make sure your dough now is starting to get quite liquid. Now for the dried fruits, for the apricots, we cut them in halves. Dried figs, we cut them in quarters. And for the Majdul dates that are going to be sticky and full of sugars already, we're going to remove the pith, and then with your hands you just split them. So now we've cut up the fruit and we're ready just to coat them with a bit of flour. So you just sprinkle the flour and you give them a toss. Just like that. Gently, you don't want to mash them. We're just covering them so they stay whole in the baking process and they don't all fall at the bottom of your mold. So now the dough has rested and we're ready to assemble them. Prepared my mold. There's a coating of aluminium and then parchment paper, because we're going to use this once we're done to wrap the cake and put it in the fridge for 2 weeks. And the recipe does 3 cakes. And what we do is you just take a handful of the fruits, spread it in, make sure you're getting a bit of all the different fruits, and just shake it, give it a small shake so the excess flour you're not getting in. It has to be half full of fruit, the molds. And again, the only thing you need here is to make sure that there's no fruit that's not covered with the dough, because then they'll burn, they won't be nice. That's why you use the end of your bowl to do that. And then now, you give them a shake on top. So the dough is really covering. And here I let them rest for 15 minutes so the dough slowly goes around the fruit, and we'll give them one last tap and put them in the oven. So they've rested for 15 minutes. Just make sure, another little shake. And they go in the oven like this, uncovered, for an hour and a half. Now is the exciting moment where slowly the smell of the fruits and of the spices is going to start filling up the kitchen. And for me, that's Christmas. That's my date of Rula. It's Christmas in her kitchen. So now, an hour and a half later, they're ready. If you're not sure, you can take a toothpick and just put it in and make sure that the bottom of the mold is cooked, so the toothpick comes out dry. They smell fantastic. I wish you were in the kitchen to get that smell. And you leave it to cool for an hour more or less, and then in the fridge. So I did prepare another batch around 2 weeks ago. We're gonna open one together and see what it looks like. It smells wonderful. I can't wait to taste this. It has the figs, the raisins, the cherries, the apricots, the walnuts, and the dates. It's been a year since I tasted it, from when I did it last year. It's my grandmother's Christmas cake, Palestinian Christmas cake from Bethlehem. It's wonderful. This year, think of others. Do a few more of your Christmas cakes and give them out to people who've had a tough year. It'll bring surely a lot of joy and delicious flavors. Merry Christmas from Bethlehem. This is fantastic.